Breaking news. California's independence movement reaches historic milestone. In a significant political development, California's bid for independence has taken a dramatic turn. The Calexit movement has gathered enough signatures to place a historic referendum on the 2028 ballot, a vote that could reshape the United States. California, with an economy larger than most nations and a population exceeding 40 million people, represents a political and economic powerhouse that could become the world's newest nation. Since the 2016 presidential election, when California voters rejected the national leadership's direction, the state has increasingly diverged from federal policies. The push for independence stems from growing frustration with federal policies, political divisions, and a belief that California's interests no longer align with Washington's agenda. The state's robust economy, technological innovation, entertainment industry, and agricultural output make it potentially self-sufficient, according to independence advocates. Unlike historical secession movements, Calexit is pursuing a legal democratic path through the 2028 referendum, the first legitimate attempt at state secession since the Civil War. While critics point to legal and constitutional hurdles, including federal institutions, military bases, and economic ties, supporters believe these challenges can be overcome. The implications would be far-reaching. A successful Calexit would create a new nation with significant economic power, technological capabilities, and cultural influence. Whether or not California achieves independence, this movement signals a profound shift in American politics, raising questions about the future of the United States. California's push for independence gains momentum as tensions with federal government reach new heights. The Calexit movement, advocating for California's secession from the United States, has gathered significant support, drawing parallels to global independence movements. Recent polls show unprecedented support for California's autonomy, driven by the state's robust economy, currently the fifth largest globally, and deepening ideological divisions with federal policies. The movement has secured signatures for a 2028 ballot referendum. California has effectively been operating as its own nation in many ways, explains Dr. Sarah Martinez, political analyst at UC Berkeley. From immigration policies to climate initiatives, we're diverging from federal directives. The state's sanctuary cities have become flashpoints. Despite threats of funding cuts, major cities continue protecting undocumented residents, challenging federal immigration policies. Climate policy represents another battleground. While Washington supports fossil fuels, California pursues green energy initiatives, setting ambitious carbon targets. The state has formed climate agreements with other nations, like a sovereign state. Economic indicators suggest California could sustain independence. The state's diverse economy, powered by technology, agriculture, and entertainment, generates sufficient revenue for autonomous governance. Critics warn about complications with federal assets and military installations. The movement's success could trigger similar initiatives in other states, potentially reshaping North America's political landscape. This isn't just about California. It's about redefining governance in the 21st century. Constitutional scholars remain divided on secession's legality, but supporters argue for self-determination. As the 2028 referendum approaches, both sides prepare for a historic political battle. Good evening. I'm bringing you significant developments from California, where the controversial Calexit movement is gaining momentum. The Golden State's potential bid for independence could reshape not just America, but the global political landscape. Much like in Eastern Europe, where territorial disputes continue, California's push for sovereignty stems from ideological differences with its federal government. The state's climate action stands in contrast to Washington's approach, particularly following devastating wildfires. California's economic might is remarkable. With a GDP of nearly $4 trillion, it would become the world's fifth largest economy, wielding more economic power than most G7 nations. Silicon Valley giants like Apple, Google, and Tesla form the backbone of this economic powerhouse. Critics raise concerns about independence challenges. The state would need its own military, trade agreements, and diplomatic relations, requiring massive resources. The legal hurdles are daunting. The U.S. Constitution provides no clear exit strategy for states. Constitutional experts suggest any secession attempt would face fierce opposition in Congress and the Supreme Court. Internal division within California is concerning. While coastal urban areas support progressive policies driving the independence movement, rural northern regions show resistance. This mirrors other disputed territories, where regional differences complicate unity efforts. The implications would extend beyond U.S. borders, affecting global trade, technology sectors, and international relations. The Calexit movement is more than just a political curiosity. It's a phenomenon that could reshape the world as we know it. Breaking news. California's independence movement sparks national debate. In a significant political development, California's push for independence, Calexit, has secured a 2028 ballot referendum. This unprecedented move could reshape both American and global politics. California, with its economy larger than most countries, has been flexing its political muscle in unprecedented ways. The implications are far-reaching and could fundamentally alter the American political landscape. If California succeeds, it could create a template for other states, particularly Texas, which has historically entertained independence aspirations. This scenario raises questions about the future stability of the Union. The international community is closely monitoring developments. Major economic powers like China, Japan, and the European Union are positioning themselves for potential direct relationships with an independent California, considering new trade deals and diplomatic partnerships that bypass Washington. Even if Calexit fails, it has already transformed the dialogue about state autonomy. California's leadership in environmental policy and tech innovation, often opposing federal guidelines, reflects growing dissatisfaction with the current political system. California's economic strength and social progress have made it comparable to many nations. Its push for independence could fundamentally transform American federalism, much like how other regions have reshaped their political landscapes historically. This movement raises crucial questions about the future of the United States and could shape political discourse for years to come.